The A318-100 is the smallest member of the A320 family, seating around 107 passengers on two CFM56 or PW6000 engines, with a range of about 3,100 miles. Air France and Frontier were among its early fans, though most operators have since moved on to more efficient jets. The ACJ318 is a corporate jet built on the A318 airframe, converted into a long-range private transport, with just a handful of seats aboard. It can fly nearly 7,000 miles non-stop. Governments and private owners in Europe and the Middle East have used it as a flying office. The A319-100 is the shorter sibling of the A320, carrying around 120 to 140 passengers on CFM56 or V2500 engines. Its range reaches close to 3,700 miles comfortably. United, Lufthansa and EasyJet all fly it, prizing its flexibility on thinner routes across Europe and the Americas. The A319LR is the long-range version of the A319, fitted with extra fuel tanks to push its reach past 4,200 miles. It carries fewer passengers in exchange for that distance. Operators used it to open thinner transatlantic routes where a bigger plane simply would not fill up. The A319neo is the re-engined A319, using CFM LEAP or Pratt & Whitney PW1100G engines to burn noticeably less fuel. It seats around 120 to 140 passengers. Air China and Avianca were early takers, though orders stayed modest as airlines preferred the larger A320neo instead. The A319CJ is the corporate jet version of the A319, kitted out as a long-range VIP transport with a cabin that can sleep passengers. It flies close to 6,000 miles. Military and government operators across Europe, Asia and Latin America use it as a head-of-state transport. The ACJ319neo takes the A319neo airframe and turns it into a business jet, with much better fuel economy than the older CJ. It can carry a handful of VIP passengers over 6,700 miles non-stop. Private buyers and government fleets in Europe and the Gulf have placed orders for it. The A319 MPA is a maritime patrol proposal Airbus put forward, using the A319 airframe as the base for an ocean surveillance aircraft. It was pitched with sensor systems for tracking ships and submarines. No orders were placed, but it showed Airbus was serious about the military market. The A319OH is an open skies treaty aircraft operated by the German Air Force, fitted with cameras and sensors to conduct agreed observation flights over other nations. It replaced older platforms and flies under strict international rules. Germany uses it to meet its NATO obligations. The A320-100 is the original version of the A320, built in very small numbers before Airbus switched to the improved -200. It seats around 150 passengers and uses CFM56 or V2500 engines. Air France took the first ones in 1988, making it the pioneer of fly-by-wire airliners worldwide. The A320-200 is the main production A320, adding wingtip fences and a center fuel tank over the -100 for better range. It carries 150 to 180 passengers, up to about 3,300 miles. Nearly every major airline on Earth has operated it, making it one of the best-selling jets ever built. The A320neo brought new CFM LEAP or PW1100G engines to the classic A320, cutting fuel burn by around 15%. It seats 150 to 180 passengers with a similar range to the CEO. Indigo, EasyJet and American Airlines are among the biggest operators of this widely ordered aircraft. The A320neo M3A is a military concept. Airbus revealed at Farnborough 2018, proposing the NEO airframe as a base for maritime patrol, submarine hunting, airborne radar and signals intelligence work. No nation has ordered it yet, but Airbus keeps the offer open for future competitions. The A320 is the corporate version of the A320, reconfigured with a luxurious cabin and extra fuel tanks for extended range. It can carry VIP passengers over 5,000 miles in comfort. Government and charter operators in the Middle East and Europe have been its most consistent customers. The A320neo brings neo fuel savings to the corporate jet formula, giving government and private passengers a more economical long-range cabin. Range goes beyond 6,000 miles with tanks fitted. Gulf operators and several European governments have taken delivery of this efficient variant. The A320 P2F is a converted freighter, where an old passenger gets a cargo door, reinforced floor and plugged windows to carry freight. It can hold up to about 16 tons on main and lower decks. EFW in Germany does the work, and express cargo carriers run them on short-haul route. The A321-100 is the first stretched A321, about 7 meters longer than the A320 and seating up to 220 passengers. It entered service in 1994 with Lufthansa. The range was limited compared to later versions, so most operators quickly moved to the -200 once it was available on the market. The A321-200 improved on the 100 by adding fuel capacity and lifting the range past 3,200 miles. It seats up to 220 passengers and runs on CFM56 or V2500 engines. American Airlines, Air China and Thomas Cook were among the heavy users, especially on thicker leisure and domestic routes. The A321neo is the re-engined A321, using CFM LEAP or PW1100G engines to burn far less fuel than the CEO. It seats up to 220 passengers with a range close to 4,000 miles. American, United and Indigo have ordered it in big numbers and it has become one of the hottest jets on the market. The A321neo ACF, known as Airbus Cabin Flex, adds an extra door pair and rearranges exit configurations to legally carry up to 244 passengers. Wizz Air and Frontier chose it for high-density flying, where fitting in as many seats as possible is the clear commercial priority. The A321LR is the long-range A321neo, fitted with 3 extra fuel tanks to push the range beyond 4,000 miles. It lets airlines fly thinner transatlantic routes with a narrow body. Aer Lingus was among the first to use it on routes from Dublin to the US East Coast with solid economics. The A321XLR is the extra long-range version, reaching nearly 5,400 miles thanks to a built-in rear fuel tank that is part of the airframe. Iberia, Air France and American are among the carriers planning to fly it on transatlantic routes where a bigger plane would not fill seats. The ACJ321 is the corporate version of the A321, offering one of the biggest private jet cabins around with room for lounges, sleeping areas and offices. Its range sits near 5,000 miles. Middle Eastern governments and high-end charter firms are the main buyers and operators of this jet. The A321 P2F is a converted A321 freighter featuring a large cargo door, reinforced main deck floor and sealed windows throughout the cabin. It carries up to 27 tons of cargo. DHL, Qantas Freight and Titan Airways run them on express and charter routes as 757 freighter replacements. The A321 PCF is Precision Conversion's freighter option, using a different cargo door layout to the EFW program. It targets the same express cargo market with solid payload numbers. Air Transport Services Group backed the effort and runs several of the converted aircraft on its network. The A321-200 SDF is Syndraco's freighter conversion, a third certified path for turning old A321s into cargo haulers. Lufthansa Cargo flew the first one in early 2022. It competes with the P2F and PCF programs through its own approved conversion and a distinct interior layout.